Good morning, everybody. Orange J here. Today, I'm going to tell you why you should play Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, look, before I even dive into this, I've spent like 10 to 15 hours in the demo of this game, and I can already tell you this might be my game of the year. I am super pumped for this game to come out. It's only a few hours from launch as I'm recording this video. Playing through the whole version of this game is going to make my month, probably, because it's going to take me a long time to play it. But if you don't want to take my word on just how good this game is, just go to Twitter and search for Metaphor ReFantazio reviews. It's getting 10s out of 10s. It's getting Metacritic must plays. In fact, if you find these posts where it shows all of the scores, notice how they're all like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.8 out of 10. Like, I'm gonna say, I feel like that's a low score. It's the lowest score on this list. If your lowest score on this list is an 8 out of 10, it's a great game. It's a great game. Now, who is this a great game for? That's what we're going to really answer here today. I'm somebody who loves Persona games. I like that like Atlus style where you kind of care more about the style, the aesthetic of the game over raw graphical power. Like, I don't really care if the faces of characters in my game look super lifelike, but I do care that the art direction makes me want to just keep looking at it over and over again. And Metaphor does that in an insane way. Like, if we look at another little Twitter post real quick comparing these menus from Personas to Metaphor. This is Metaphor right here down on the bottom right. You can see just oozes in style. This style just leaks out of this game over and over. And that is the first thing you're going to notice when you boot up this game and play. It is super stylized. Again, much like the Persona series is, where your menus all look awesome, the transitions from menu to menu. The developers for this game actually are quoted as saying how annoying it is to like make all these cool menu transitions. Like, it's apparently a lot of hard work, but it pays off in a big way because it's something that everybody remembers. If you've played Persona 5, which I know I've referenced a lot of times early in this video, you'll just remember like Joker in the menus and just everything about the game bled style. Metaphor does that, but it's importantly different than the Persona series in a way that I think is going to capture a bigger audience, because this is a fantasy turn-based role-playing game. The Persona games are set in like high school. It's like real life with a mix of fantasy thrown in. This is back where you're dealing with knights, you're dealing with wizards, you're dealing with dragons and goblins. It is traditional fantasy stuff, but with the Atlus twist. It's kind of Persona meets fantasy in one really great game. And they've even mixed in a little bit of action RPG where you can clean up easy to kill like trash mobs in a quick action-based system. And so farming mobs for experience, really not that hard, especially if you're farming trash mobs. It does so many things right. So if you're somebody who's a fan of the Persona series and you love fantasy, you love turn-based RPGs, this is the game for you. Now, I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper here. I'm a boomer, so I took some notes on why I like this game, and the political fantasy RPG was the first thing I wrote down. This is something that I've also seen talked about in other reviews of the game, and even just playing the demo, which they give you a lot in the demo, I'm not going to lie. You can go try that for free on Steam or whatever system you're playing it on right now. You can tell immediately that this is going to be a politically intriguing story with a lot of twists and turns. The people who seem bad at the beginning are probably going to either be like anti-heroes by the end, or you're going to kind of see the perspective they're coming at it from. I love that. Like, it's very not straightforward political story. Game of Thrones-y a little bit, maybe. I definitely get that vibe. Awesome. I'm all about it, and I can't wait to do a full review of the game once I've played through the whole story, because I just have a feeling it's going to have enough twists and turns in there that I'm going to continue to care about the story for the whole time. And in a lot of RPGs, that's the thing that I find lacking maybe like 20, 30 hours in, is I'm not as engaged in the story as I was maybe the first time I played Final Fantasy VIII or Final Fantasy VII. Newer RPGs have lacked in engaging story for me personally. This game feels like it's going to be hooking me the whole way through. Again, once I play through the whole story, I'll give you that review. It's also a very human experience. Like, one thing I've liked about, I'm going to go back to the Persona series again, is how your teammates, the people in your squad, interacting with them, building those relationships impacts the game. It impacts this game in much the same way. So if you're familiar with the system of making friends, building your relationships, and that opening up the world, opening up more play options for you, you're going to get that here in Metaphor ReFantazio, and I'm all about that. Also, the main character here is definitely going through some modern day problems in the fantasy setting. Now, this is an issue that, if not done right, can be really cringe or feel like way too woke. And no matter how you feel about modern day political issues, especially in the United States, I think nobody really likes to just have them shoved down their throat in a gaming experience in a really like blunt force way. This game doesn't really do that. You're playing as a race in a society where a lot of races exist, but there's clearly a hierarchy to these races, and you're kind of at the bottom. Like when you walk into the first city in the game, people are basically like, oh God, look at this guy, get out of here, you guys suck. Like there's I'm not gonna do any story spoilers here, but basically tragedy has happened and everybody's like, well look, there's one of those guys, maybe they're responsible for it. And you kind of just have to live that a little bit, and it allows you to fly under the radar in certain ways, but it's not done in a way that's like, it's not annoying. It doesn't feel really woke, but you can tell it's going to be addressed. It's a very diverse game, but it's diverse in its own way. It's not diverse in like 2024 political way. It's diverse in like, there's these elf looking people and there's these shorter looking people and then there's your type of people. So they do their own thing, and it doesn't feel super woke. And I know for a lot of people, even people who care about those issues in real life, they don't want that in their games. This game really toes that line. Okay, again, I've only played through like the first arc, but so far the game has towed that line in a way that feels acceptable, and it might be one of the first games to do that, or at least one of the more recent games to do that appropriately, where you don't just feel like you're being shoved down like modern political agenda stuff. So I wrote that down as a big plus for me, that they're able to toe that line, and I do like that. I've heard from the other reviews the main story is about 80 hours long, so I expect to get well over 100 hours into this game myself, doing the side content, farming, stuff like that. It runs with the same kind of calendar system that Persona games do. So if you just played like the Persona 3 remake, for example, you'll notice how you'll be given a calendar. There's a date on the calendar you have to get stuff done by, and you really have freedom in between the date that it is and that end date. As long as you achieve your goal by the end, you're fine. This also does the social levels. Now in this game, you are building your king levels, right? So your charisma and your intelligence, these things you've built in the other Persona games, you also build those up in here. But what it does in this one, and I wrote this down, it actually shows you your progress in your traits. In Persona 5, for example, you would go talk to a confidant or go do an activity, and it'd be like, hey, one of your social skills is going up, and you're like, that's great, how close am I to the next rank, because I need to unlock the next rank to do this side quest. Here it tells you. I don't know why it's taken them this many games to just tell you what your social rank points are, but it's so nice that you're like, oh look, my wisdom went up, and you can see that if you had one more point in wisdom, you would achieve the next tier. That's such a I was gonna say breakthrough, but it's such an obvious breakthrough to have. That's such a nice thing. It felt really good to be like, I need to get my wisdom to level 2. I need like 4 wisdom points to get it, and now I'm gonna go find those 4 wisdom points. And when you do activities, it kind of spends your day on those activities. So it really felt bad in other games, especially if you're blind playing them and not following a guide, to waste your days trying to build up your intelligence or something for an exam, and then you can't hit the break point even though you did it every day, and you like fail the exam or don't get the A or whatever. In this game, you'll know. You can just count how many points you need, and it shows you. I like that a lot. Now, turn-based RPGs. Turn-based RPGs are very much not dead. This game does turn-based RPGs with that same sort of like elemental weakness system that was in the Persona games. Awesome. Turn-based RPGs, if you're a fan of them, this is a great turn-based RPG, and I think you should give it a try. For my channel, my plan with this game is to stream it. I'm going to try to stream my entire playthrough of this game. I have not had much luck. That's not true. I haven't had much time to stream single-player RPGs on this channel, but I'm in a gacha dry spell right now. There's really not a gacha game I'm covering at least full time. So I'm just going to live stream this game. I'm going to try to do a big live stream this weekend sometime because it's launch weekend for the game. And then a few hours every night after work until we play through this whole thing. It could take me a month to beat the game, but I'm really looking forward to experiencing this world with you guys for a month. So if you want to be a part of those, follow me on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. I'll stream in both places. I prefer viewers on YouTube, but if you want to watch on Twitch because that's better for you, maybe you got those Prime subs, you can skip the ads, do that too. All right, hey, thank you guys for watching. I think you should definitely try this game. If anything I just said sounded appealing to you, or any of the footage that you've seen looked cool, try it. Try it. This is going to be a 10 out of 10. This might be my game of the year. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.